In 1977, Chief Cornelius J. Behan left his native New York and the New York City Police Department to serve as chief here in Baltimore County.
Funny thing happened on the way to Baltimore County. One of my business acquaintances in New York, where I had a good relationship for 15 years, called a fellow by the name of McGurk here in Baltimore County. He was the past president of Mercantile, and a very charming fellow, and we had a nice conversation. And I told him, as long as we're talking to a businessman, what I want to do eventually is to have a police foundation and perhaps that kind of relationship. He put me in touch with Furlong Baldwin. He was the current CEO of Mercantile. And he arranged a meeting at his boardroom down the city for all the businessmen of note in Baltimore County and Baltimore City. And we met, and then I told them what I felt the relationship was between police and business. I understand that they're concerned for the environment, and we are too, and it worked out well. As the meeting was about to, and I told them I'd like a police foundation. As the meeting was breaking up, one fellow asked me, he said, "Well, is there anything you need right now?" I said, "Yes, right now." I said, "I have a large budget run by a bookkeeper." I said, "You can't do that. That doesn't work in organizations." And then another one said, "Do you want a police foundation?" I said, "Yes." So the meeting broke, and that was it. Next morning, I had a fellow by the name of Arthur Ransom. He was from Coopers and Lybrand. He came to see me and said that, "I'm here to set up your budget office." And he said, "I'm bringing a team down from Philadelphia, and we'll do that." And he did, and they did. And weeks later, another gentleman came forward, and he said, I'll build your police foundation. And he did. And that's how it all started.
It's a unique group of individuals that volunteer their time, their connections, and their efforts to better the circumstances for the men and women in law enforcement in Baltimore County.
What I wanted was people who were in their organization at a level to be decision makers. They had to want to and really want to be around cops. We're a different breed. We think differently, we talk differently, we have different kind of experiences, and they had to want to be part of that.
The foundation came together in 1979, guiding an exchange of ideas between the department and business leaders.
We really do value the men and women that are on this foundation. They bring a lot to the table, a lot of experience. And it also creates a situation where you're getting different thoughts and ideas from the private sector, and not just a situation where you're looking at work from a bureaucratic or government perspective.
The benefits to the business community that became part of that was an appreciation for what the department and what the officers in turn really do, and their professionalism.
Right now, the Police Foundation helps equipped officers with the tools and training needed to protect the citizens of Baltimore County and engage in law enforcement for the 21st century.
Despite the best planning, despite the best stewardship over funds and trying to forecast what you need, oftentimes there are unmet financial obligations that come about.
The biggest thing that the foundation does these days is training. We offer training opportunities. If a training isn't covered in the county's budget, the foundation will provide the funds for the training to be given.
Certainly across the nation and in Baltimore County, we've seen numerous instances where children would get a hold of guns and sometimes tragically bring those weapons to school. Partnering with the foundation, we were able to identify a funding resource to buy thousands of gun locks and give them away free to the citizens of Baltimore County. And these were supplied to different police stations, and a family could walk into a station and receive one of these free locks. Most recently, and one project I'm really excited about, the foundation funded new electronic three-wheeled vehicles. Allows the officer to get that omnipresence, that certain mobility in different areas all throughout the county. They're used primarily in Towson. We have equipment today that enhances analysis of different evidence, and the foundation was instrumental in paying for that equipment. And this equipment could cost hundreds of thousands of dollars in some cases.
They've strengthened ties with businesses. They've made the police department more effective, more efficient, and getting our word out to businesses and communities.
The third key to the Foundation's mission, recognizing members of the department for outstanding work above and beyond their already noble calling. A thank you they don't receive every day.
Efforts that went into assisting the community of Turner Station. I had a foot patrol job there and was tasked with creating alternatives than just hanging on the corner for children just hanging on the corner. And with that, I was able to engage all different populations within the community, the elderly as well as the youth, by creating a reading and tutoring program, engaging the seniors in a horseshoe league and current events classes. So it was actually bringing the whole community together for a common cause, and that was to increase the quality of life for the youth.
Some of the people in the unit had never been recognized formally for doing good work ever in their careers. It was the first time they'd had external recognition for all their hard work and dedication, and it was good to reaffirm the work that they do and the people that they help.
Missed a lot of family times, birthdays, Christmases, that kind of stuff. On this particular case, we traveled Florida over a dozen times, Arizona, different things like that, so we were away a lot. So to have like my mom there, my wife, my kids, Kevin had his whole family, just to be able to all come together and, you know, like Colonel Ward and my mom got to talk, and my mom really appreciated it. That's all she ever talks about is how well Colonel Ward treated her and stuff like that. You know, that's important to a family.
To be recognized and people see that, I think that instills some pride in the person who receives it, and also it instills in other officers the will to do better so that they can get those awards as well.
When we are able as bosses in particular to say what they're doing is right, what they're doing has value, what they're doing has meaning, and is going to change the course of how we're doing business internally or within the community, I think that it means a lot to employees to be able to say to their family, their friends, and their co-workers that they have had a vision that's been recognized and that's making a difference.
WBAL TV anchor Stan Stovall has served as Master of Ceremonies for the Foundation Awards for the last 25 years. Stovall, whose father was a police officer, became involved with Foundation when he returned to Baltimore in 1989.
I have to admit, I knew nothing at all about the Foundation prior to being handed this information and go MC this program. I think I probably faked my way through it. I hope I did a pretty good job that first year. But it was obvious to me at that very first Foundation awards banquet how important this foundation was to not only building morale among the police department, but also a very valuable link to the community. But it also gave me an opportunity, being the MC, to also cover the event and give exposure to law enforcement officers who are doing great things in the community.
Of course we expect our officers to be productive. Of course we expect, you know, high quality of workmanship. But the awards that the Foundation recognizes capture the essence of high quality work.
I received the Valor Award in 1998. It was about 8 o'clock in the evening. I was traveling in my K-9 unit down Pulaski Highway towards Baltimore City when I saw a vehicle driving westbound in an erratic fashion. I turned around, I tried to catch up to the vehicle, I finally did, and once the vehicle pulled over for the infractions of speeding and weaving, I walked up to the vehicle, I spoke to the driver. He tried to get out of the vehicle at first when I was approaching, but then I told him to stay back in the car. He gave me his driver's license and his temporary registration, and at that point I noticed a silver handgun laying in the back seat with the rear seat passenger. There was 3 people in the vehicle. I immediately drew my weapon, I pointed it at him, I told everybody to stand still, put their hands up in the air. The driver immediately lowered his right hand to the gear shifter. At that point, the rear seat passenger put his hands down towards the handgun. I fired, fearing for my life. And then that's when this car sped off at the same time I fired. The pursuit went down Pulaski Highway towards Rossville Boulevard. At that point, the 3 subjects bailed out of the vehicle. I chased after the one subject that was hopping, which ended up being the front seat right-hand passenger. I caught him. Some other officers caught the backseat passenger behind the Dunkin' Donuts, and then the driver was found at a later time in the woods hiding, and then they brought him out. Seeing that handgun in that car, pretty much my heart dropped. I could not believe what I was looking at. I was all by myself other than having my K-9 who was barking in the truck. which of course at that point he can't help me. But everything just, had tunnel vision. It was a scary situation. I remember hitting my signal 13 button and saying something on the radio, but at this point I can't even tell you what it was because I was so nervous and just focused on that handgun and focused to be safe out there by myself and make sure that I went home that night.
In '85, Maryland Shock Trauma started a crisis team. Critical stress debriefing team is actually to help EMS personnel, emergency responders after a critical incident, because everybody took care of the victims, but not realizing that, police, EMS could be just as horrified that they just witnessed the death of a child, could be a horrendous accident, a police officer being killed, and what are we doing for them? Because they realize if you don't jump on them right away, like you would do a regular victim, that things could happen down the road. They could quit. Some bad things could happen.
Officers in Baltimore County take pride in their daily police work, giving more than their badge requires to build trust and relationships within their community.
When I was an officer, I nominated Officer Mike Schmitz out of Precinct 11 for his hard and very hard and lengthy work with the Shop with the Cop program. He was the one that started it here in Baltimore County, and it's still continuing today, even after he retired. And I was one of the first officers that he asked, when it was just a group of 15 of us, that took the children to Walmart and shopped. And all of us actually reached in our pocket and gave money to shop, even though we already provided some money. We even took money out of our own pockets to shop, and on our own time. Now, you have over 100 officers doing the Shop with a Cop program.
Sacrifice and cooperation by officers and by members of the Police Foundation are central to the future of Baltimore County.
Because we need each other. We have to know what their needs are, they have to know what our needs are. The public is served by both the products or the services they give, we give a service, and to put them together in a harmonious way to serve the public is just a great thing to happen, hopefully forever.
I'd like other companies to join the foundation. We always are looking for contributing members. We're always looking for companies to join our board of directors. If you're interested, please reach out to us.
I think it's a very bright future for the foundation and for the men and women who'll go on as time moves forward.
The hope going forward is that the foundation will not only grow, but thrive, providing guidance, resources, and recognition for the brave men and women of the Baltimore County Police Department for decades to come.
It really does create a sense of calm when I have an alternative resource to help accommodate our mission, and that's reduce crime and keep the citizens of the county safe.
Let me say to the rank and file of the Baltimore County Police Department, I love you guys. You guys are definitely the best that I have had an opportunity to work with, to get to know, to help raise funds for. And this will be a special bond that I hope will last, or I know it'll last for a lifetime for me.
If I could thank the board and the Police Foundation themselves, I would do it personally. I would love to go up and shake each one of their hands and say thank you very much for supporting the Baltimore County Police Department. Thank you for supporting me. And I'm still going to wear this ribbon until I retire.
Well, I'd just like to thank the members that are a part of the Police Foundation. I think it's a commitment on their part. It's above and beyond the call of their areas of responsibility in business. I think they really enjoy it. They learn about law enforcement. We learn a great deal from them as business leaders and about leadership in general.
To the police officers, to the men and women of the Baltimore County Police Department, thank you for what you do.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for everything you do for the foundation and for the members of this agency and the community. And they will probably never fully appreciate the impact that they have on the people that they serve.
Thank you, Baltimore County Police Foundation.
Thanks.
Thanks. Thank you for your unwavering support. You've made us better, and you've enabled us to help others in our profession.
You always do the right thing the right way for the right reason. Always. Right thing, right way for right reason. If any of those are missing, when you make a decision, chuck the decision, because something's going to go wrong. But when you stick with those three things, the chance of succeeding is about 99%. And that's the way we operated, and it worked.